Good morning, everyone. Can you all hear me? Yeah, yes. Hello, Happy. Yeah. Good morning, Jen. Good morning, Keith. Welcome to this meeting. Yeah, let's give a few more people a bit time to join in. Give them like 5 minutes, and then we wait for our host speaker to join as well. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Once again, I hope you can all hear me. Please react. Please send a thumbs up or anything if you can hear me. Oh, okay. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Okay. Yes. Good morning. Good morning, Elijah. It's very nice of you to join us. Good morning. We're just giving. We're going to start at 11:05, so that a few extra people can join. Then we can begin. I hope that's fine.
Yes, that's okay.
Okay, just everyone, let's begin. So we're going to begin with an opening prayer. I'll lead it, and we'll also end with a closing prayer from one of you. Okay, let's all humble ourselves. Okay. Our Father in heaven, thank you for this day. Thank you for the gift of life. Thank you for everything that you've done for us, Lord. Thank you that we're all here, able to attend this meeting, this info session, Lord. Provide us with the curiosity, knowledge, the insight, so that we can learn from our host, so from our speaker. We can gain as much knowledge as we can, and we can be able to implement it. Pray this meeting goes smoothly. In the mighty name I pray. Amen.
Thank you. Thank you. Sure.
You're welcome. Yeah, so good morning, everyone, once again. Welcome to this info session. My name is Jule Bashem. I'm the open source lead for GDGoC. It's very nice to have you people. Now, our lead, Ronnie, has joined. Ronnie, if you can say anything, please do. I'd like to hear. Okay, I don't think you can say anything. Um, um, we'd like to give the floor to Elijah. Elijah is our guest speaker. Is the reason we're all here. So, this is Elijah. So let me hand it over to you to tell us about your experience with Google Summer of Code. You know, what interested you into joining it, how it went, the things you learned, and again, give us a few tips for us who want to join in later. You are only speaker, so please take your time. Yeah. And if it reaches 11:30, please, as long say anything, as long as please take your time and exhaust as much as you can. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you, Sean. Thank you for this opportunity to share my experience. I was at Makerere University. Ron is actually my friend. Really good morning. Um, let me just put up my screen. Let me share my screen. I just need you to confirm if you can see my screen. Just confirm. Anyone?
Oh, yeah, we can say it.
Okay, great. So I'm Elijah Okello. I am a software engineer currently, and I work with INFITX Africa. What we do is, what we're basically doing is implementing payment systems as well as building softwares to support financial inclusion. So, um, so you'd be happy to know that I actually have this current job of mine because of the things I did or the opportunities I got when I contributed to one of the fintech organizations in the open source finance community. It was during my summer of code internship. I got a lot of experience. And then once I, kept around in the community, I eventually got a job. So that goes to show that summer of code is not only an opportunity to get some money. The money they give is good, but the biggest opportunity you get with summer of code is the other networks that you make, and most importantly, the experience and the opportunity to be employed by other organizations. So let's get right into it. Okay, so what is Google Summer of Code, or what is Summer of Code for Google? Now, Google Summer of Code is it's an arrangement or an initiative by Google where students, early contributors, whether you're a student or not, but it was started for students, but it was eventually expanded to anyone who is not a student. It's an initiative where students, new contributors, join placements in organizations to contribute to their open source products. So myself, I contributed to an organization called the Mifos Initiative. Now, the Mifos Initiative is an organization. Let me just show that to you real quick. The Mifos Initiative is an organization that builds open source banking software. So they build core banking solutions for they actually have a core banking solution called Fineract. Okay. Eventually they donated it to Apache Software Foundation. So it is a software that is used to manage accounts, managing loans, to register new account holders, basically to operate a small microfinance institution. And they have another product called Mifos X. Mifos X is the UI that is built on top of Apache Fineract to allow people to use it. Now, there are many organizations that actually use Apache Fineract and Mifos X. Mifos X is like the face of Apache. Apache Fineract is like the APIs, and Mifos X is the UI. Okay. Even in my current workplace, we have things that we do with Mifos X. So this is the project I actually contributed to, and I was building a tool to ease its deployment. So the current deployment facilities that are there for Mifos X and Apache Fineract, plus some other softwares, there's Moduloop and a Payment Hub. The current deployment facilities that are present allow you to deploy them independently. So I was working on a solution to allow any adopters or anyone who would like to see them work together, to deploy them together as one stack and do some testing, run some transactions. Like I said, I'm in the open source finance space, so this is one of the ways that I managed to get into it. But I started earlier on. So let's get back to the presentation. So that is Google Summer of Code. Students, contributors, early stage contributors, anyone who hasn't contributed to open source gets into an organization. Of course, there's an application process which we're going to go through in a bit. And once you are accepted, trust the organization to choose the people that will contribute to the organization in the period of Summer of Code. And it usually allows a certain amount of time, which I'm going to share with you in a bit. So once the organization chooses you, you contribute to them, and Google will pay you a stipend, depending on the size of the project. Now, the size of the project is determined by the organization. There is small, medium, and large projects. Small projects, I think they take about, according to Google, they look at it as, according to Google, they pay for small projects at 175 hours, I think, and the medium projects, something like 200, and then the large projects, 350 hours. So you can extrapolate those in terms of months, and depending on how many hours you will commit per week, you can extrapolate and know how much time it would take. But the payments that come from Google are fixed, and each of these payments come after an evaluation by the organization. So the first one comes after the first evaluation, and the second evaluation when you have completed the project. And it's usually the organization that decide whether you pass or not. So it's good to have a good working relationship with the organization. And I know I've probably put it in a way that sounds like it's very strict or hard to do, but it actually isn't. If you're friendly with your mentor, it's usually level. So if you put in effort, like you put in the hours and actually try to ask if you're not understanding anything, you are most likely to pass. Okay. Yeah. So let's go to the next thing. How would you get into Summer of Code? Now, this is an interesting topic because I I think getting into Google Summer of Code is not just about applying. I think there is, in my opinion, so let me just give you a bit of how I got into Google Summer of Code. So I had been active in the open source finance summer of code. So basically I used to, it's an open source project called Moduloop that I used to I was very active in that community. I wasn't even doing any contribution as such, but I was just active in that community. I used to offer to do stuff. I would offer to help. I'll just be available for any work, and they would throw some work at me. They would, of course, you're not getting paid because it's voluntary. And of course, for me at the time, I just wanted to be noticed so that I could hopefully get a job. Okay, so it's just just like anyone would want to do. It's noble to want to, I mean, to look for money because I mean you need to take care of yourself and your loved one. So I was just doing that. I was just doing it, hoping that someone would notice. So I was basically doing what we call working the gimmick, or in Uganda, I was trying to get myself seen. So now there was an event that I attended in Kigali, still for that specific open source community called Mojalu, and the president of the organization, the president of Mifos, happened to be at that organization because it's a fintech open source meeting. And so when he saw that I was actually contributing to Mojalu, or at least trying to get noticed, I was like, you know what, why don't you come and contribute to Summer of Code for my organization? So at that point, it was almost assured that I would get into Summer of Code. Okay. Now, someone would probably say that I cheated or I did this or I did that, but that's how I feel like that's the best way you can get into Summer of Code. Now, my story, of course, is very special. How can it apply to you guys? At anyone who wants to get into Summer of Code, please try as early as possible to get involved in that organization's community. Make sure the project owners get to know you somehow. Try to just offer help. You know, it is easy for them to. So let me give you an example. If I had an open source project and there was some guy who has just been around, offering help. He's not even getting paid. He's buying his own internet. He's using his own resources. He's joining meetings. In fact, he's joining meetings earlier than some of the people who are paid to join meetings. And then Summer of Code, and then we're probably in Summer of Code. It's easy for me to tell him, just doing Summer of Code and keep doing what you do for us. I mean, it's time to get paid. So I think the most important thing is getting into the organization early enough. How do you get to know the organizations that are in Summer of Code? So you come to the Summer of Code website, okay, for Google. Google has a website called summerofcode.google.com. And to see the organizations that, I wouldn't say it's, I don't want to say it's too late, but if you want to join an organization, the best time to do so is now. Like literally, come to this website, go to browse all 2025 organizations. There's a whole ton of organizations in here. So for me, mine. So let me just say we want to contribute. Let me say I want to contribute to the Linux Foundation. I'll click here. You should. All organizations usually have a mailing list or forum or a chat. So go into the chat. Some of them are Gitter channels, Slack channels, Discord servers. Some of them are actually just public forums like this one. Okay. So you can see that, for example, Linux Foundation, they have a Mastodon hashtag that you can use to ask questions, I guess. And then I'm not so sure, but it looks like they don't have any public forums that you could join and ask questions. So they probably usually have like an email around. Let me try another one here. Let me try another organization that I can show you. We want to try Cloud Native Computing Foundation. So I'm going to search CNCF. Cognitive Computing Foundation is the one that builds Kubernetes. And I applied to it sometime, but I was not accepted. So it happens that you're not accepted sometimes. So you click on this contributor guidance. I'm going to click on this link. It'll open in a new tab. And they give a whole lot of information. As you can see, it's actually quite up to date because it was updated 2 months ago. So I think they updated it for 2025 mentorship. So for Google Summer of Code, so they have like mentoring programs with our Chichi, Google Summer of Code, LFX mentorship. But because we're here for Summer of Code, we'll just go to Summer of Code. And the tips I'm giving actually literally apply to all these mentorship programs. So it should work. So you come to the one that you want to apply for, and then let me see. So this guy should be a good person to reach out to. Please reach out to us in the discussions tab. Please don't use DMs unless strictly. So let me see if I click here, where does it take me? Yeah, so they have like where is this Google Summer for 2025? Where is it? As you can see, I'm kind of figuring out the stuff as I go as I move forward. So it's not like clear cut out what you should do, but just find a place looking for to get started with seeking guidance. So I can click here, and then you see people are actually already putting their information here, and you can see there's a link to a Slack workspace. So if you go into this Slack, you can join their Slack. And I actually already joined their Slack. So of course I was asking questions there, here and there. I was getting guidance. I actually made a pull request at some point to some project under CNCF, and eventually I was trying to just make sure I was getting recognized and all, but some guys outbeat me, which is the case. It's quite competitive. So just try to offer help, try to be useful to the organization. So just basically try to get noticed. Try to get noticed. All these people here are trying to just get noticed. And you see this guy here, what he put here, he said, I'm Mood for Intern, a BTech student in computer science. I've good understanding of Python Flask, and I'm really interested in learning and contributing to the cloud native ecosystem. So everyone just comes here. So this was probably done on January 19th, someone else is going to come here. And usually a maintainer will actually usually come out and reply to you and, get you started. And you see, basically he's probably even he just wanted to join the Slack space. And I think that's what he did. So you need to do that. Okay. So come to this space, get the organization you're interested in, and then reach out to them. So it's probably kind of difficult right now to find an organization. Okay, not difficult. I think that difficult is the wrong word. It's probably so you probably will get into an organization that has already been saturated with so many people. You find that there are maybe a lot of Nigerians, a lot of Indians, a lot of people from South Africa have already gone in, and it's saturated. So your chances, of course, your chances of being selected are narrower, because it's going to be harder to stand out in a crowd that big. So you want to make sure you start being active in the community very early. So if, for example, for me, if I wanted to be present in the Summer of Code, now for me, the story I just shared with you worked for me because it just actually happened without my intention. So it just happened naturally. But I think you can work the same formula to get there. So if you want to do a Summer of Code for a specific organization, you probably should be reaching out to them 4 months prior, just be active in the community, or if you're very good at it, try and make pull requests in a shortest time possible if you feel like time is running out. But of course, now for me, I'm not the best at thinking solutions in short time. So I rather just be present and show that I have the wit and the grit to, work and contribute, make things happen and solve some problems in there. You can definitely get noticed. Each of these organizations has maintainers who are probably busy with stuff, so they definitely need hands to help them with things. And if you reach out earlier, before even Summer of Code, it's easier for them to just recommend you and be like, just apply, go through the formality, but eventually we'll choose you to work with us because you've been with us already for a long time. So yes, so once you have done that, once you have been in the organization, then you will now need to do what we call a formal application. So the formal application is for, as you can see right now, it's grayed out. It says applications for GDGoC contributors will open in March 2024 all the way through 8th. So from the 24th of March, which is like 23 days up to the 8th of April, there will be an open window when you can apply to these organizations. And to apply to these organizations, you need on in Google. Google has nothing to do with it. Literally, the people who are going to receive this information are the organizations. So it's basically, it's not even cheating exam. It's just basically looking out for yourself. So if I'm applying for a job at Google, I'm in a better position talking to someone who is at Google to recommend me, or even talking to the hiring manager first before I apply, because then they would be sieving the resumes not based on whatever AI system they have sieving the resumes. They are sieving, actually looking out for mine so that I can go into the next step. Yeah, so basically that's it. So after you have done that groundwork with the organization, it's arguably the most important phase of this application process. How much the organization, the open source product maintainers know you, and how much they have worked with you. That is literally what counts when they are going to choose you to contribute to the project. Now, you don't have to be the best at programming. You just have to be the best at asking questions, literally. So if you know how to ask the right questions and you're teachable and coachable, you're probably already in a good position. And of course, needless to say, you need to have a background in computer science, because once you're getting into this project, some of these projects are actually quite sophisticated. They're using the best, they're using the, not, I wouldn't say the best, but they're using the most modern of technologies, because usually a lot of people look at the code bases, and it's interesting to be in such a position if you do not have the foundations of, for example, a network or like computer RAM, or there's those small, I wouldn't call them small, but like there are some things that are considered trivial in open source contribution. So you need to sharpen your Git skills, like creating a pull request, making a fork of a repository. You don't have to be a guru at it. There are certain things that you just must have. So if you come to the internet and you just search for Git and maybe Git cheat sheet, you should be able to get like information. There's a cheat sheet here. You can get like stuff you can just you have at your fingertips to like work with Git, and even me for myself, there's some of these commands I barely use. Some of them I don't even know, but you just need to have the ones that allow you to work with like branches, checking out into a branch, creating a new branch, merging a repository, merging a branch into a branch. So please sharpen your Git skills, because a lot of this open source contribution is going to happen on version control systems. Some open source projects are going to be using, so there's a whole lot of version control systems. There are not so many, but I think there's like VCF. There's one called version control. There's one owned by Microsoft called version control. I'm not so sure, but yeah, I think you can see all of them here. There's Git, there is Apache Subversion, there is Mercurial, so there's a whole lot of them. The one that is most famous is Git. So you probably need to be in a good position. You need to have Git, And then most of the open source projects are either going to be on GitHub, they're all going to be on GitLab, or some of them are going to have private code hosting repositories. So you find, for example, Git itself is actually built on a private repository, not GitHub. Android is built in a private repository hosted in Google. So yeah, so those are some of the tips I think you guys should have. So you need to have basically, of course, it's good to know English, because most of the communication is done in English. So just make sure you are clear enough. If you don't understand something, please ask. Asking questions is your best. Asking questions as much as possible is going to be your best bet at understanding what the open source project is doing and what they're all about, but also being able to be useful to the organization, because you cannot help with what you do not know. Okay. So let's go to the next thing. So what do you do once you are selected? Now, so before you're selected, you need to write a proposal. Something I missed to share. You need to write a proposal. A proposal is basically, actually, let me go back here and share something that I needed to share. So let me see, contributors. That is NCF project. So they have like a whole lot of projects here. I think this is not a good example. Okay, it's a good example. I just want to find a place that has ideas. So let me try and look for the Django project. Django. Try and look for that Django. Yes, DSF. So this is the Django project. It's I believe most of us here know Django. It's a web framework for building web applications using Python. And if we go to their ideas wiki, you'll see down here that they have, in fact, here they've actually put the size of the project. So this is a medium project. They put the size of the project, and let me see where there is large. Let me see where they have some information about the amount of hours. But anyway, most organizations have something similar. They usually have a summer of code page dedicated just for summer of code. So this is for Django project, okay? You can read all this stuff. You can read about being a mentor if you want to be a mentor. Then they always have, of course, these tips of how you can improve your chances to be selected. So let me actually read it. So they're saying the best thing you can do to improve your chances to be accepted as a Django GDGoC student is to start contributing now. Read up on the Django contributors documentation and make yourself known to the other contributors by your contributions, ideally related to the area of your proposal. That way, when it comes to the time to evaluate student applications, you'll be a known individual and more likely to be able to get the attention you need to develop a proposal. We are looking for candidates who can demonstrate that they can engage in work or project scope on an independent basis. We are there to help, but we can't watch you every step of the way. So we need to see that motivation from you. Being active before the submissions process is the best way to demonstrate this. Literally what I've just said. So just find a way to get known, man. It's your best way to be selected. If the project maintainers know you, the better. So I was coming to the point of proposals. Most projects have this ideas page. And they usually, for example, now Django, the ideas they have is Django templates, bring Django templates patches into the core, automated process with Django contribution workflow. So they usually give this is a medium-sized project, 250 hours. So they're saying the contribution workflow within Django has several manual processes. These are error-prone and take up valuable time for contributors. So this is actually an idea, okay? GDGoC contributor will actually come up and say, okay, I'd like to work on this. And you write a proposal that addresses this. So you literally have to say in that proposal what your project timelines are going to look like in the first week, what will you be doing in the second week. If you're going to be researching, literally put it there. There's nothing wrong with researching. It's probably a good thing because research definitely allows you to plan prior to execution. You don't want to start constructing and then you're breaking things because you made a mistake just because you didn't plan. So it's good to plan. So write a whole project proposal. And what is a good to have and probably a must have is literally write actually what you're going to do in implementation and how you're going to solve the problem. So present a solution. Now, for me, in my GDGoC proposal, I actually didn't present a solution. What worked for me is that I was already active in the community and that was literally enough for them to know that I was probably going to be a good fit for the project. And for you, because you're now just getting into, if you've not contributed to the project earlier on, you need to make sure your proposal is strong. If you've not put in the work to, not the work as such, but if you've not put in the time to reach out to the community, be active, get noticed, your best bet is making sure you have a good proposal. for GSOC. Yes. And once you have written your proposal, you're going to submit it through the Summer of Code website. And that's at this point, on 24th of March, this button will become blue, and you fill in a form, upload your proposal. It's probably going to be in a Word document. Google Docs, actually, I think that's better. So upload a Google Docs document and submit it. Now, once you've done that, you'll have to wait to be selected. Now, don't just wait as in chill out. Like literally keep on being in the organization, be motivated, be there present, show the best. So in this case, I would say the person who stands out the most for the contributor is actually the one who is going to be selected. Like, so what I'm trying to say is give it your best. Don't just do the bare minimum. Like, I have said hi, done one pull request, and that's enough. There are people who are doing 9 pull requests. The people who are doing crazy stuff, because it's a very competitive and prestigious fellowship. So just outdo yourself. Do not be lazy. You need to grind, have some grit. It's going to be a bit hard, but it pays off eventually. The only way you can, I would say, cheat exams is make sure you are the maintainer's friend. How you be the maintainer's friend is up to you. But in my opinion, it's by contributing and solving their problems and making life easy for them. Yes. So that's it about the proposal. All organizations have a page where they list proposals. This is just for the Django Software Foundation. But if I can pick up some other random organization here, this is going to literally just write out an email and tell them about what you're interested in. They even have a link to a forum for discussion, so you can look at that, open it, talk about what you want to do if you want to do something in there. So yeah, like I've shown you, all organizations have somewhere in which they document their ideas. It's a clear pattern. On our part as contributors, we just have to be able to stand out from anyone else who's applying, because that's the only way we can be useful. If you want to do deep mind, you put on the ideas list, probably also a Google Docs document. This is a GitHub gist. So you read through each, you can comment on the gist if you have, comments are disabled, so that's fine. So you look through the ideas, you basically be of help to the community and as much as possible to get noticed. Now, on to the next thing. Once you are selected, what do you do? So once you're selected, what you should do. Hopefully by this time, because of the tips I've given you, you're probably already in touch with your mentor. So Google will, of course, put a period, like a 2-week period for you to get acquainted with your mentor, just to get to know him or to know her, to get to know them, understand what they do, basically get some communication channels in place, identify the preferred channels of communication. Some of them prefer email, some of them prefer Slack DM, others Jira DM, Discord DM, or they have like a forum that would be created for you. Depending on what they choose, this is the time for you to get acquainted with the organization, what they do, and how to be helpful to them, and the best way to communicate. So that's the time also you get to meet your organizers. It's the time the organization probably organize some sort of like announcement party. So it's like a meeting on a public meeting where the community contributors join and they get announced to the new contributors they have on board. So basically, you're getting to know about the people who are going to be on the team, the organization, right? So once you've done that, you will now need to start working on the project. So in the proposal, you wrote how you're going to be working on that on the project. So you now have a mentor. Probably it's a time to look at the design that you put in place in the proposal and let them guide you on what you need to do. After they've guided you, some of them may not guide you, some of them may guide you. Remember, mentors are actually not paid, so they're volunteers. So they are actually very busy. Most of them are employed. So you find they're employed by like Google or some other organizations wherever in the world. So they are actually quite busy. I was a mentor myself. I barely got time to meet my contributors. So it was just about them making sure that they can move themselves forward. And it's very, very tough sometimes for the mentors because they need to prioritize, but they give time. They do give time. And it's a shout out to all the mentors, by the way. They do a good job because they're not paid to do it. they just do it, and some of them actually get their hands dirty and do the work, get the work done. So at that point, once you have reviewed it, if you've reviewed it with them and they haven't really given you feedback, just start implementation. They'll probably critique the actual work that you will have done. And ideally, make sure that in the first half of the project, you are doing your best, because based on your performance in that execution of the project, it will determine whether you get paid or not. If you're make sure your mentor likes you, like do everything to make sure your mentor likes you, because okay, not likes you, but make sure you're in the good books of your mentor. Make sure they see what you're doing, that they see that you're working, commit very often, ask questions, be active, and don't wait for the last day to make the pull request. Don't make a very large pull request. No one likes to look at 2,000 lines of code to review it, and the submission deadline is tomorrow. No one likes to do that. It's better for me to look at 4 lines of code that you've done, which I can easily look at and critically do this, do that, change the design, tweak this, tweak that. It's better that way. So it makes life easier for you and also for the mentor, so you don't have to rush on the last day, and also for the mentor because then they can review the code more properly, because there's not a lot of stuff going on there. So eventually you have to make sure you finish the project. Try as much as possible. Most projects are usually quite difficult. So what will happen is the summer of code may get done after 5 months or 3 months, depending on the size of the project. But after that, please do not leave the community. Like literally stay there and continue working, even if you're not getting paid. Now that's what determines whether you can actually be employed by people or not, because we're just here to get the money and go away. So employers look at that in a way, because it shows them the character of the person that is in the community. So stick around, keep contributing. If you finish the project, ask for more work. Just stick around. I mean, they already paid you about $2,000 or $3,000, or if you have a Facebook account, shout about it on Facebook. If you have an Instagram account, make noise. Try as much as possible, if you can, to attend the physical meetups, because now that's where the actual employers are. Attend the physical meetings. So if it's in like Louisiana in the US, you go there. If it's in Kigali in Rwanda, go there. If it's in Kampala, Uganda, go there. If it's going to be in Nairobi, Kenya, make sure you go there. If you can. Okay, try your best. If it's in Africa, I think it's better, even because then the cost of going there is much lower than traveling to the US. If in the US, you probably can't. If it's in Europe, you probably can't. But if you have the opportunity, try and go there, be present, show them that you're actually part of the community. Not actually show them, but like you're actually not part of the community, but just stick around, stay there, and do your best to be the best that you can. Most of these projects have a lot of funding from people, from organizations, so they're actually doing non-profit work, and most of the time they're paying people to do it. So, of course, most of the time, open source voluntary contributors are not paid, but eventually at some point someone notices, and then you'll get hired. Yeah, so stick in the organization. Yeah, I want now to listen to any questions if there are any. I'm going to take maximum 10 questions, and then we'll wrap it up, because I know it may go overboard. Yeah, Shem, are there any questions?
Guys, if you have any questions, please ask. As to have absorbed a little knowledge, so I'm sure someone has a question. So please ask.
Yes, Anna.
So thank you for doing this with us. And I came in a little bit late. You might have already talked about this, but I'll be that annoying in a way. So I just wanted to know, for someone that is, I have never made a pull request. I am only using Git to commit projects that I'm working on personally, small things that maybe I sit around and think I need to work on personally. How best does someone get into that space?
By space, you mean like open source?
Yeah.
I mean, like I've shared with you, you need to identify an organization, identify an organization, come to the Summer of Code, page that has organizations, search for an organization you probably will be interested in, or filter by what you're interested in, whether it's AI, data, development tools, end user application. Once you find the organization, you come to the page that contains the details, and then you go to the idea page. Some of them actually have like emails, reach out to whoever is going to stand about that information, and then join the forum. So most of them have forums. Join the forum, introduce yourself, and ask to support and stuff. Just ask for help. Basically, that's it. Everyone wants help, so it definitely works for them. So yes, just do that, and you would be. Or if even any other open source project, some may not be part of Summer of Code. Reach out to them, ask to help, and be of help. Yeah, that's all I can say. Anyone else? Yes, more.
Yes, thank you for the presentation, Elijah. Well, during your presentation, I realized that this Google Sum of Code, there's a lot of, should I say luck? Okay, there's the part of the hard work, but then there's also the part of the luck. So I was wondering, is it possible, or could you be having references to companies that are more likely to be like what maybe could increase your luck? Because for instance, I'm looking at a company like, let me say, Mozilla or Apache. I do feel like there will be many there will be many individuals that will go for it that are actually very good, like by far 10x developers that are better than me from China, India. And me, I'm just a student at campus who's just trying to make programming make sense to me. So are there
I don't think there's anything like luck. What you call luck is just an opportunity to meeting a ready person. So you need to prepare yourself, okay? Number two, most of the developers who are actually applying from, like you said, from China, India, they're actually students like us. So I wouldn't say they're any different. They're probably just putting in more hours this application process than us, and that's why they beat us, or they go the extra mile, So I would advise that you give it your best. Don't, by best, I mean your best. Don't just give it some work and then you say, you know what, I've applied, but I'm hopefully not going to go through. Even if it's 2 minutes to like the deadline, like I think you can still do something about it. So yes, you could say it's luck, but the person who actually gets into a specific organization is not there because they are lucky. It's just that someone noticed them and they were like, okay, I think this is a good person to work with. And it's not really luck. I don't want to say it's luck because it's not a lottery. People are actually putting in the work to get there. So that's what we need to get into ourselves, especially us here in Uganda. People are quite lazy. I was also a victim of it because I was also quite lazy at some point, but having been exposed to the work ethic of a lot of people in different cultures, it's clearly evident that we are doing the bare minimum, yet we are actually quite smart. So yeah, please, I think you can do it if you give it your best. I mean your best, not just, you don't have to try and compete with anyone, just do your best. Yeah, that's all I can say. So yes, Najima Malim.
All right, thank you so much. Once again, good morning to you, Elijah, and the rest. I found you at around 40-something minutes past 11, so I did miss a big part of the presentation. But the question is, whereas I've understood that students can go on for this program, my ask is around the level of experience. For example, if I'm doing a master's and I want to participate in this Google Summer of Code, plus is there any age limit? Plus, probably the projects I could have worked on could be mainly for clients that are, some projects are not being available on GitHub or what, but the works that I did work on, probably that could be featured in my CV. Does that count as well? If you can enlighten me on that, I'll be glad to know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. So there's no age limit. Anyone can contribute. Number two, you can share your CV, but it's probably not required, but just share it. Please share it and make sure it's the best it can look. So, and the other thing is, if you have not had any experience, I don't think it disqualifies you. Like I say, go in, give it your best and see what happens. If it fails, go for the next. So I tried to join Summer of Code like 2 years in a row, 2022 and 2023, then I got in. People will try more times. So it depends on how willing you are to put in the work to get there. So I think it just requires you to, I think we are very smart people. We're just a bit relaxed and lazy because maybe you have, we probably all have things we do, but then we're just relaxed about it. But if you put in the work, trust me, you will get there. Yes, Isaac.
Yes, thank you, Elijah. Can you hear me clearly?
I can hear you well.
Yes, so thank you for that presentation. So I've tried to look for such internships before, and even during your presentation, you talked about the advantage of having a background in computer science. But for someone like me who, I did some other course, I even started off a career in another thing, but did like a boot camp, and I've worked on some projects. I built up some skills, some coding skills. So is this something I can take on and actually get the internship, even if I didn't do the computer science for my undergraduate?
Yeah, of course. Of course, I think you can. I mean, if you've said your program, you probably know how computers work. So I don't think you can program and you don't know how computer works. So you probably have the right background. So let me just ask a question. Are you already programming somewhat? You've done some bootcamps. Just give me an idea of the things that you've done.
I did a certificate in software engineering with Refactory, but with JavaScript.
Yeah, you qualify already, so that's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you probably have what it takes for it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, Jovia.
Yes, good morning, everyone. So I was wondering, do I qualify to join? Because programming, I really don't program much. I'm inclined on research, but still I do some training models given a data set. So can I compete?
Yes, thank you, Jovia, for that question. So it's an interesting position. If you don't like to program, it's gonna be a bit hard because it's the initiative is Summer of Code, so you probably have to code at some point. Then the projects that they're putting in place are for programmers. So if you're in AI and artificial intelligence and machine learning, yeah, you could give it a try. But I don't want to rule out whether you will get in, because I think there are projects for you there that maybe don't require programming. But I would say that it's gonna be hard. I don't want to say it's impossible, but it's gonna be hard for you because most of the people putting up projects are definitely looking at people who are going to code. Yeah, unfortunately, that's the case. If you're looking for research-based projects, maybe so Google Summer of Code is one, but also consider Outreachy as well as Linux Foundation mentorship. Those should be able to help, but it's going to be a bit hard, especially for Summer of Code. But I don't want to rule out the fact that you could get in, but it's possible. If you just follow what I shared, then it should be possible if you're actually being valuable to the community.
Right.
If you're very valuable to the community, the mentors can literally create a project for you. just
Okay.
for your skill set. Yes, if they see your value.
All right. Thank you.
No. Any other question? Yes, Arinda. Arinda, please ask your question.
Thank you so much, Mr. Elijah, for the presentation. I would like to come again on how to submit the application, and also when are the applications, or is there, when do they accept the applications? Thank you.
Yeah, so you submit the applications on this page here. Unfortunately, right now it is grayed out because we are still in that phase where I think actually Google expect people to be reaching out to the organization, so you need to reach out to the organization. But this will become blue at some point. Every year, I think it happens in the same period, so between like in the early parts of the year, not anytime. I don't think I've seen it happen in the second half of that. It happens in the early parts of the year where you can apply and then get information. But yeah, this button will become blue. Right now it's grayed out, and they're telling you applications for GDGoC contributors open March 24th to April 8th. That's when you should look out for this. Go to the website that has been put in the meeting chat. Yes, Lutalo, Steven.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Steven, and I'm doing software. Like I'm in my year one actual right now. But what I wanted to ask is maybe right now the programming you're doing, okay, it doesn't make sense to us, but I would like to recommend me to some of the platform that can help me get exposed, maybe to get a bit challenged of the world I'm going in. So maybe someone here, because I've had very many people here, most of them are ahead of me, or maybe where I'm going, that's where they are. So I would like to maybe someone share with me any platform that can help me dive into the world I'm going in of programming. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Steven. I think my answer to that is just get into open source. It will be a baptism by fire. You will see stuff you don't understand, and you will eventually research to make sure you understand. So just get into open source. I think the best way to learn is by doing. So get in there, try and fall in the deep end, and then try to swim out. You'll eventually learn. So of course, there was a time even myself when I'd look into like a Python repository that is open source, I would understand nothing. But now, if I look into it, a lot of stuff is making sense. Same applies for like JavaScript. So yeah, the only way to learn, I think, is by doing. So if you just go to read content, it may not really work for you. Of course, you read and understand, but I think application learning by doing is better than learning just by reading. Yeah. 2 more questions? Yes, Arinda.
Well, I have one more question. Which programming language do they normally use in Summer of Code? Because there are so many programming languages. Which one are you supposed to be versed with?
I use all of them, man. Every language is an open source language. So I think they use all languages. So open source projects are so many, man. Like, I think you've seen the organizations here. So you just have to pick your struggle, choose one and go with it. It's going to be hard to, unless you say that you choose a language yourself, but I'd say you just need to select a language and then choose a project for the language that you have chosen. So if you're familiar with Python, you probably would want to go for Python projects. If you're familiar with JavaScript, you probably want to go for JavaScript. And not all open source projects are for languages. Some of them are actually for tools. Okay. Some of them are going to require you to use tools like Terraform for DevOps, Ansible, Bash. So yeah, it's like that. So instead of trying to look for the language itself, rather focus on what you already know and build on that. Yeah. One more question. Is there any other question from anyone? Okay, I see no more hands up. Yeah, I'd like to thank you guys for joining and for listening. Isaac, you have a question?
Yes,
Let me
just
answer this one.
is it possible maybe to share those links to the website?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, but I think they've shared most of the links I've been using. They've shared them in the meeting chat.
Thank you.
So yeah, just look into the meeting chat and get it in there. Yeah, thank you everyone for listening. I really appreciate this. I really want to see more Ugandans in Summer of Code. It's not that hard. You just have to be. You just have to. It's actually about who wants it more. So on who wants it is the one who puts in the most work. So let's. So if you don't get in, you probably didn't want it as much as the guy from India, because he put in more work. So if you want it, you will get it. So just put in that work, and I think all should be well. I've really gone miles in open source, man. This time I even paid a bus ticket for myself to go to Italy and attend that meeting where I met that guy who gave me the Summer of Code internship. So how much do you want it is the question. Yeah, Shem, back to you.
Yeah, thank you, Elijah. Thank you a lot. Thank you for taking the time to speak to us. Really learned a lot. Personally, I have. I'm really asking you guys to make sure you implement what he has been taught, what has been taught today. Okay, so I think be very respectful to let Ronnie say something. I don't know if he's able to speak, but would love to hear a word from our leader.
Thank you so much, Shem, for moderating this, and thank you so much, Elijah, for the session. I believe we've all been impacted, and looking forward to even actually applying myself. And I believe everyone on this call has gotten something out of this. And if you do have maybe issues, which can have even more discussions in the WhatsApp group or anything really, if you're part of that group. And then for the people who haven't, maybe they have shared, I think, the link for registration in the chat. You can just join, and then you can just register. Then maybe you can follow up with how you can actually get started, maybe the links that have been shared by Elijah. And all these opportunities are actually available for everyone, for all of us. And just like Elijah mentioned, it's really the resilience, the zeal, and how much you actually need this to maybe put in the power, put in the time, put in the power, put in the energy to just be open to learning, to doing things, being part of these communities, really, because Elijah was actually part of the GDG or GDSC, formerly back then. And all those things really, I'm not saying that they look at you being part of the community, but being a part of a community like this really, you get to learn things that people who are sharing or people who are doing stuff, and how you can actually also contribute to different endeavors. So yeah, thank you so much, Elijah, once again, and thank you, Shem, for this. Yeah, a blessed Saturday, everyone.
Thank you so much, Ronnie. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, okay. I think let's close the meeting. Just please don't forget to register so that we can send the documents to you. And there's one more info session for those who are willing to join the Google Summer of Code on March 6th. So it's the last one. So I think maybe we'll get more info on that and share. Okay, let's have a closing prayer. Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the gift of life. We thank you for the meeting that has been able to transpire here. Thank you for Elijah giving us his insights, his experience, and teaching us, showing us what we should do so that we can grow and develop ourselves. Please give us the ability, the knowledge, the passion to implement what we've learned. And Lord, be with us, guide us on this journey of ours. In mighty name I pray. Amen.
Thank you, Sean. Bye, guys. Cheers.
Bye. Thank you.